My friends, hello and welcome to GoldenEye SpeedLore, the series where we learn about the history of GoldenEye 007 speedrunning on the Nintendo 64, about the players who competed throughout the years, about the amazing world records set through the ages, and the stories behind it all. And tonight, well, we're doing a level which, when I first set out to complete this series many moons ago, I thought this level was probably too short for one of these episodes. But if there's anything we learned from a couple episodes ago, Bunker 1 Agent, somehow going about 3 hours long, I think we'll be just fine tonight. Especially because I've opened every known world record video ever performed on this stage. Indeed, tonight we are taking a look at Bunker 2 Agent over the years, so let's get on with it. Bunker 2 Agent. Of course, you're back in the bunker. In the canon of the game, it actually takes place 4 years. The first set of surface and bunker levels take place 4 years before present time, and now you're in present time here. And actually, this is the first mission in present time in the game. If you go back carefully and watch, Dam is like 9 years ago, Surface 1 and Bunker 1 are like 4 years ago, Silo might be 2, and I think Frigate's 1 or 2 as well. Frigate might be the first actually taking place in the present day, but here we are in Surface 2, and then you enter the bunker, and you get locked in this prison cell, and you meet our friend Natalia. The objectives are to escape with Natalia, Objective B, and recover CCTV tape, Objective A. Now, obviously, this is a game made in 1997. You would think escape with Natalia might be like a fairly complicated objective. You have to escort her to the end. But in reality, all you have to do is open her jail cell. That's literally it. Open her jail cell. She can get freaked out to the point where she returns to her jail cell, but that's like something you won't see. Even playing casually, it's very rare to see that. So all you're going to do in this mission, hey, it's one of the shorter levels. Open her cell door, recover this CCTV tape, run to the end. Let's take a look at the Madman Fletcher's first ever submitted PB, 48 seconds, to get a gist of what's going on this stage. So you have to pause here and pull out your watch magnet attract. I guess then it pulls in, metallic objects such as the cell key, so you can open your own cell. You come out here, you slap this guard twice, then you open and you pick up Natalia's cell key. You could see that, picked up a cell key from him, 2 different cell keys. Open the bars, and then just run on through the mission. Now, if you remember the Secret Agent and 00 Agent... Oh, there's a key card. Some of these doors are locked, of course. If you remember these Secret and 00 Agent missions, you have to blow up all the cameras and stuff. You don't have to do that on Agent. You just have to run to the end. Don't blow up the cameras, don't pick up the clipboard or anything. Just the CCTV tape. And go to the end. And Fletcher's trying to warp there, doesn't quite work out for him, but you know what? That's all good. 48 seconds by the Madman Fletcher. And now, the target is 1:30. He beat that. It's very easy to beat the target time on this mission. The cheat is double throwing knives. If you use the watch magnet attract in the beginning, you can also pick up throwing knives. Which, the level's supposed to be like a stealthy level. If you go over to the right there, into that, pool of water, you can get, throwing knives. But, yeah, even playing through casually, you might not encounter that. But it's cool. It's cool. You get a throwing knife in the level, and so that's what the cheat is. And a lot of the cheats in the game are similarly based like that. Like, Caverns 00, double RCP-90s, you get an RCP-9 in the level. Aztec, double Moonraker laser, you get Moonraker lasers there. So oftentimes the cheat you get is a cheat that kind of is an homage to the level on which you unlock the cheat. But yeah, given that, you know, Fletcher's first run ever is like having the target time, it's one of the easiest cheats in the game to get. Basically, if you beat Bunker 1 Agent, you're probably going to get the cheat. And of course, there we are going to zoom right ahead. There is a lot of, well, times would improve very quickly, we'll say that. In fact, the first recorded world record we have is of 27 seconds. A gentleman, Patrick Wessels, he's still actually around. He'll still watch the occasional video. He's still around. He got 27 in 1998, which is insane. I know there's definitely people watching who were born after that. There's no video remaining of his 27. Sterling Neblet would get 27. Carl, Matthias Tenam, a couple guys would get 27 there. The first video we have is this one of Ben Gorman getting 27. So let's take a look and see what we can see. So he strafes to the gate, pauses for the watch mania track, presses Z, gets the key, opens the door, slaps the guard twice, opens Natalia's door, so she's free now. And now the guard opened a door for him. He comes through, he's shooting a bunch of times with the KF7, getting the CCTV tape. He gets a bit stuck there. A guard comes with it's a double clob guard who has the key card. That key card opens the glass door at the end there. So you absolutely need that key card. It's a must do to eliminate that double clobbed guard and get his key card to finish the mission. So it's kind of like a pseudo objective, I guess. And yeah, that's Ben Gorman, Paragon from March 2001. That is just nuts, eh? Isn't that nuts? I would say. Wouter would tie, Wes McKinney would tie, Randy Buikima. The next known video is this one of a gentleman named Ryan Honkanen, 27 seconds, May 2001. Probably will be a very, very similar strategy. Yeah, definitely. Flicker, you could let the cameras see you for like a few seconds. The alarm will go off, and oh, nice, very nice getting the clob, a key card. That's the door that you need the key card for. Yeah, Ryan Honkanen, I don't think we've ever seen a video of his before in lore. He got like a handful of records. Let's just take a look. Let's just see if we can find out how many. Like, I want to say like 5. 10 records. 10 records of the ilk of Bunker 118 and Bunker 227 and, you know, Dam 54, Runway 23, stuff like that. All of his records were set in 2001, so unlike, you know, the people who obsess about speedrunning for 10 plus years, 15 years, 20 years, it seems like this fellow played for 1 year and said, you know what, that's enough for me. I'm done with speedrunning. And probably a good decision on his part, I'll say that much. Okay. Greg Lavery, we've talked about him. Actually, Bunker 2 is kind of one of his more signature levels. We've talked about him on many of the Bunker 2 episodes. You see what he did there? He was able to slap the guard once and get the key card. That was the time save on this run. This run's actually still a 27, but back then he was able to use this as proof that he got 26. Yes, he would go by the pseudonym Captain Zebo. You can't really see, but like it says time 27, best time 26. He was the first person to get 26. This video isn't 26, but it's proof that he got it. Or at least it was accepted as proof that he had gotten it. So, yeah, the big difference here is that he slaps the guard. If you slap a guard agent from the side or behind, you can pass them away in one slap rather than two. That's obviously a pretty big time saver. And that is what allowed him to get 26. Now, because he's faster, the key card guard right here, he used to be right at the turn. He's a little bit down the hallway. So that's why this specific run was 27. The key card guard was a little bit down the hallway. If you kind of create a bit of lag and get a little bit of look away, look in the right directions, allow him to warp further down the hallway, he can be right at the corner there. And that's going to become pivotal, certainly on later runs. So I imagine his 26 would have been one slap jail cell room, and the guard at the corner would have been 26. So let's take a look here. He says, "Good Lord, that was a perfect run. I'll describe it. Wait 1 second after the name of the level comes up. Skip the next intro. Pause right away before moving forward." That's interesting because we definitely saw Ben Gorman and Ryan Honkinen run to the jail cell before pausing. And now Lavery is saying, pause first. And then he magnets as he's moving forward. That makes sense because when you press the magnet, it takes like a couple seconds before you attract the key. So it makes sense to start attracting the key right away. Of course, that makes logical sense. Open the door slightly before hitting the guy in one punch on strafe, which I can do semi-consistently. Get through the next door, start shooting where Carl does, and open the door. Hit the guy with 2 clubs with a knife as he was in the perfect position as around the corner. That's pretty cool. I don't know if we'll see any runs like that. We might. Got through the glass doors perfectly. Boosted twice. Wow. He skipped. Look at this. He skipped 27 right to 26. That's pretty wild. He skipped 27. He's a legend, I guess. Unfortunately, there was no video ever made of his 26. 2 weeks later, however, Randy Buikima would also get 26. So we can actually see what a 26 might look like. Let's take a look. Pauses right away, just as Lavery described. Gets his watch magnet tracked, presses Z, starts luring the key. Oh wow, Randy did a 2 slap still. That is very interesting. I bet you he's going to have like a perfect Klob keycard guard. Right at the corner. Yeah, exactly. Gets the keycard guard. Opens the door. Warps out. Wow. Very, very nice from Randy. 26 seconds. That's pretty good stuff. And let's take a look. You know what? You don't get all the same items on each level. So you don't have the watch laser escape on this level. You know, I don't know exactly what explains it, why you don't have every gadget every time, but I mean, it's, you know, it's the way the movies work and the games work and so on. So there you go. You only have access to the watch magnet attract in this situation. And there's a 26, and we're going to watch a couple more 26s right here. So let's take a look. Ben Gorman, Paragon, 26. Let's check it out. So you see, you remember hearing Lavery say, wait for this text at the bottom of the screen to come up. Wait 1 second, then press A to cut the cutscene. Skip the second cutscene as well. This level has roaming guards walking through the halls. So the timing of the opening cutscene affects where the guards' positions will be throughout the level. Was that 1 slap or 2 slaps? I'll have to go back and check. But again, perfect Klob keycard guard right at the end of the hallway there. Doesn't have to go up any bit. Gets a boost, opens the door, warps out. The warp is fairly tricky. The warp on Bunker 1, I would say, is trickier. But the warp on Bunker 2, it's decent. 2 slaps. Oh wow, Gorman did 2 slaps. Let's see. Yeah, that's pretty wild. Oh, Carl also tied 26, but there is no video of that 26. So yeah, let's look at the records. August 01, we see 4 people have the 26. Lavery, Randy, Gorman, and Carl. What I find interesting is that Lavery described and showed the 1 slap guard. Yet the other guys did 2 slaps. This to me implies that 25 is probably possible with a 1 slap guard, right? I would say it probably is. Let's see if Randy can pull it off. So again, cuts the cinema with the same timing. This is August 2001. Randy gets the watch, magnet tracked, slap from behind, press speed to open Natalia's door, and now we're on our merry way. Randy runs in there, gets the videotape. The guard is a little bit down the hallway, but he wasted no time in the video room. And so it will become a point of contention. It's like, should you... Oh, something about Homer Simpson, and then 25 seconds. Cool. Interesting video. I wonder if that was... Wow, okay. Anyways. You see, like, he runs in here, grabs the tape, leaves immediately. Let's say he, like, hung around in that room for, like, a quarter of a second in the tape room. Would this guard then have been further down the hall? And it's like... the amount of time you could save from it, like, doubles, because you have to go into the hall and then back down. So you really want that guard to be right at the corner. So you don't have to, like, move at all. You don't have to go up and down the hall. You just can carry right on from the corner. So it's like, should you wait in the videotape room? It's a good question, and maybe you should. And yeah, I think that'll be a point of contention throughout the night. But this is indeed Randy Bukima's Bunker 2 Agent 25-second untied world record, the first guy to get 25. So great stuff from Randy B. And yeah, he hasn't been around a while, but he like reappeared in like 2012 and then 2016. And he had quite an impact. He kind of was one of the main guys developing the R-lean throws, which have heavily impacted the game ever since. So I bet you at some point he'll come back for a year, hang out, share a few new strats. Maybe, maybe not. Very interesting character. Definitely we would have discussed him in other episodes. Probably Runway 00. Yeah, interesting guy. There we go, 2001. His record, 25, that's actually crazy. It lasted almost 1 full year untied. Until the legend, Carl Jobst, would tie it in July 2002. Almost a full year later. Gets a cell key, slap from behind. Yeah, none of these have audio. I'm waiting for an audio run. None of them have audio for some reason. Gets to there okay. Opens the door, warps out. 25, good stuff. Let's see the videotape room again. Yeah, audio wasn't quite invented yet. I guess, yeah, this would have been PAL. We will talk about PAL NTSC a fair bit later on. So Carl had the keycard guy pretty far down the hallway. Probably helped out in comparison to Randy's position of that guard. Very nice, 25 seconds. By this point into 03, we're starting to get sort of out of the area of ancients like Randy and Carl and Paragon and Lavery, and we're getting into, you know, Boss and Wouter. This run should have audio. This is Boss getting 25 in January 03. Key. Ooh, nice slap. So you start shooting there. He doesn't waste much time. So you could see the club guard was like 1 or 2 steps away from the corner. Opens the door, gets a boost through. Very nice. Or very, very nice. Yeah, I bet Jimbo would have made this video back in 03. That's crazy. 25 seconds from the big boss man. Pretty wild. Yeah, so he didn't stop. That's a good point Cal brings up. It's kind of hard to tell what the other guys did. Like Randy might have kind of like stopped moving and made sure he's around the guard. Nah, I mean, Randy's was not bad. He kind of did like a strafe change, like a bit of a hook-de-doo. But yeah, Boss pretty much like held full speed on the guard's slap. Yes, Irie brings up a good point too. Boss went for some kind of warp at this glass door. Most people weren't going for a warp yet. I mean, it's known, oh, they're warping at the other door, but they're not warping through the glass door, which is kind of interesting. But there he does. He pulls it off. Very nice 25 run. Now we're starting to see some runs actually pick up. This next player to get 25 would be a legend in his own right. This... Oh, it's not quite the only time... you know what? That's interesting. It's not the only time we see him this episode. We see him much later, which is uncommon because he didn't play much in the 2010s and beyond. But this is the run of Wouter Jansen. It's a remarkable run dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Robert G. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, Robert. Let's check out this Wouter Jansen 25 from April 03. This probably would have been done on PAL. You actually get the cell key a couple frames slower on PAL, which is pretty interesting. So it's definitely a disadvantaged stage on PAL. A lot of stages are like slightly disadvantaged, but PAL is like super disadvantaged on this level, or at least it's very noticeable. Very noticeable. Yeah, horrible frame rate. Well, it was probably made in PAL, 25 frames per second, and then it was probably like frames were lost in its video file conversion. So that's definitely a thing that can happen. He needed 2 boosts. It makes sense that this run would have needed 2 boosts because, yeah, not only does... Oh, and it would have been 1.1. That's control style. So the key comes slower and the door opens slower. The jail cell door. That was a really beautiful slap, too. It's like... This is the first instance we'll see of... Is he really behind the guard? Not really. But his momentum is so good moving through the guard that the game like acknowledges that he probably would have moved through the guard in the next frame. And so it's like, you know how the hitboxes are in these older games, like even in newer games. It considers Wouter to have slapped the guard from behind, so it gives him a 1 slap pass away. And it's like one fell swoop. You slap and press B to open Natalia's door and carry on. It's definitely possible, and we might see some runs later on, guys who miss the B press on Natalia's door and fail a world record time. We probably will see some of that later on, I think. So that happens a lot. It's a very fine technique, muscle memory. I mean, listen to when you hear the beep of the key and when Wouter opens the door. It's like you anticipate exactly when you're going to receive the key, and thus the door is going to be unlocked. Very beautiful first room movement. He's a bit slow there, which works out because the Klopp guard is all the way down the hallway. That's optimal, I would say. Wouter doesn't try to warp the door. Interesting decision. Where was his second boost? I didn't notice, like, the second boost. Must have been coming down the stairs or something. Yeah. Yeah, okay, 1 boost there, and then up here. Yeah, pretty good. Great stuff from Wouter. Cool stuff. And yeah, time would carry on. This record would become a little bit more and more tied. So Graham Morris in October 03 would also match the record. Let's take a look at his time. kind of interesting waiting. He was also playing PAL. So this may have been like a fairly difficult time to get for him. Kind of, yeah, he does the same kind of thing, spending a little bit of time in the CCTV room. Gets the guard right at the end of the hallway. Doesn't go for a warp, but gets through pretty cleanly. I tell you, if there's one thing you're going to see that gets wild, it's that warp at the end. It's going to get, it's going to be pretty crazy. Okay, this is Osterland. Left ear special. Osterland is known more for his depot, agent, untied, but a nice one slap right there. Start shooting. A little bit of hesitation. He let the guards open that door, which is good for timing. Really nice keycard kill. Boost. Beautiful. Up. Beautiful. That was like 1.1 control style. 1.1 look ahead on at the ending. So a strategy some people would use is like you start shooting as you cross this pillar, and then you let the guards open this door, and that times it well enough so that the guard's in a good spot there for the key card. So that's pretty legit. And it was like a good kind of standard technique. Beautiful hum too of the background hum. I like it. It's like a nice aesthetic. That was January 04. April 9, 04, we have Jimbo. Jimbo's captures were like really nice, like a deep, thick sound, you know? He captured a lot of bosses runs. One slap, peels around, opens the door, starts shooting, lets the guards open it, runs out. His club guard was down the hall a little bit. Interesting to shoot there. I guess generate some leg for the warp at the end. See, we've only seen Boss attempt to warp the glass door, which is pretty interesting. Yeah, no look down. Yeah, there's all sorts of kind of wild stuff. Really nice run by Jimbo. Jimbo and Trent H had a lot of rivalry back and forth. They would often race to get world records. They were ranked, you know, 5th and 6th at the time, probably. They would get up to like 3rd place. But yeah, 5 days later, April 14, 2004, Trent H would get this run. Probably very similar. Grabs the key card. A little bit of a back boost and then a forward boost. That was interesting. Probably another boost there. Yeah, so we're seeing a lot of... Wow, that was wild VHS effects. That was like really good effects, actually. Should steal that for video editing. Okay, then he backs out of his screen. Is he going to show himself? No, he just does a loop around. Okay. Well, interesting stuff from Trent there. Gets 2 boosts. He definitely got a back boost here, but it kind of got neutralized because he got a forward boost right away. So he still ended up with like a positive boost ratio. Right? And it wasn't like really a full back boost because he was kind of turning around at the time anyways. Yeah, victory spin, I guess. Trent style. Wild. So there we have it. We're now in April 2004. And so these are the gents with Bunker 2, Agent 25. 8 people. 8 people. Isn't that cool? But of course, like, look at the rankings. This is when Boss was at his peak, pretty much. He still had some work to do down here. You know, train and Aztec and so on, but Boss was pretty insane at the game. Would Boss go for an untied sweep on Bunker 2? Well, yes, he would. Would he get it? Yeah, he would. He would. This is a legendary run in the history of GoldenEye. Legendary. This run is dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Riley P. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon, Riley. This one is a hell of a run. Let's take a look. I mean, this one is insane. Full speed slap for sure. Starts shooting. Nicely in there. Really good keycard kill, and like that guard's gonna boost him. Really nice like warp boost through the glass, and he's out. "24-second untied record." I mean, if you compare that, I mean, just even in your head, to the Trent run, it's like that run was so much better. You know, the Trent had back boost. Yeah, he got 2 forward boosts, which helped out, but like that run was very, very nice by Boss there. Very nice. Let's see, actually, I'll pull up by the end of the month of May, Boss would indeed go on. He would continue. He'd get the untied sweep on Bunker 2. 24, 50, 106. So, yeah, let's watch it again. I mean, there's nothing really to point out beyond just it's a better executed run. The keycard guard was in a really good position. Really good. Like a full speed slap. He was totally in the front of the guard, but because he had full speed, the game like gave it to him as a back slap. That was really nice. Like, yeah, it's the best glass warp we've seen by far, which helps a lot. One thing that like definitely is to be considered is like when a guard passes away, he can throw his weapons and key cards like any direction. Sometimes you'll play exactly like Boss played it here, and the guard will throw his key card like behind him over here, and like you'll lose a potentially good run on Bunker 2. That happens all the time. On the flip side, sometimes he can throw the key card like right at you, you know, and that can help too. And that's sort of what we see here. Like, Boss doesn't go that deep into the corner. He doesn't really go like right to the guard's body, but he manages to pick up the key card. So he got like a good keycard throw from the guard. And I bet you he had many runs where he had the opposite. He could have had it, and it didn't end up happening. So that was also a pretty pivotal moment in this run to get that keycard. Really keeping full speed through that corner. The keycard kind of falls in his lap. And then, of course, getting the boost warp through the glass door and a nice warp to finish it off. 24 seconds and completes the untied sweep. Really good stuff. Wow. Keycard. Boost. And that was like a really solid boost too. I mean, I bet even so that was like a very high 24. But a great run nonetheless, a historical run. The run actually would be so historic. I mean, look at this, right? January 1st, 2007. We're now 2.5 years later. A lot of the legendary records at the time, like Wilder's Caverns and Jungle Time, tied by Ilu. Carl's getting some records. I'm in there tying some of Boss's great records. The longest standing untied at this point was Boss's Bunker 2 Agent, 24 seconds. Who would be the one to tie 24? It's getting tough. I mean, look at these Boss Untied's controls on there. I mean, geez, what else is on here? Oh, man, Boss got Runway 00. I mean, it's interesting to note. Again, this is first day of January 07. Henrik has a Train Untied sweep. Boss has records on Cradle. Ilu has an Aztec Untied sweep. I almost have the Silo Untied sweep. I get it fairly shortly after this. But it's interesting that Alex Anderson has Bunker 2 Secret Agent. Remember how Boss had the Untied sweep? Well, sometime in 06, Alex would go on and get 49 seconds on Secret Agent. And we would have explored this in the episode Bunker 2 Secret Agent, of course. And he says, 1.1 control style, untied world record that lasted over a year when it was achieved. One of my favorite times still to this day. And yeah, I remember he used like this trance song by Ferry Corsten. It was like a really like kind of like, you know, a pumping like song. And he really loved this Bunker 2 49. It was one of his favorite times. Well, it would just so happen that a year later, a full year later, he would be the one to tie Bunker 2 Agent 24 by Boss. Let's watch the run with the full original music, and we'll discuss it. So yeah, Alex would put in the song Happy Boys and Happy Girls by Aqua off of their debut album Aquarium. I mean, people more so know, you know, Barbie Girl and Dr. Jones and My Oh My. But Happy Boys and Girls was the opening track to that album. I think, oh yeah, and A Lollipop, Candyman, how can we forget that one? These ones were used in other videos as well. I think Alex, at this point in his life, he was kind of toning down all his kind of more hardcore, crazy rave stuff, and he just wanted to kind of, you know, be happy that he had achieved the Bunker 2 Agent 24. He was just happy about it. That's all there is to it. You put that song. It's interesting that he used the cinema display option. You can do full screen. Boss would play full screen. That's Boss. You can see Boss. The full screen is in view, top to bottom. Alex went cinema. There is a wide screen as well, which is in between the two. And yeah, no, I think this is the first world record ever achieved with cinema. I don't know if he even knows why he decided to use it. He might just want to like try it out and have fun. Like Clemens pointed out, he had over 1,025 duplications. He would get in the zone and just kind of like, you know, really zone in and play the game and go hard and have these crazy sessions. And yeah, it's a good point. I guess what happened was we really didn't know. We really didn't know what was what in the game. And so people were really experimenting, exploring the different in-game settings to see if anything saved time or didn't save time. Nowadays, we are of the opinion that, like, it doesn't save time. I mean, look how much of the field of view is loaded for Boss. You can see just to this door. But for Alex, you can see look how much more you can see of the level. I've never, like, looked at it like that. I actually played cinema for, like, a couple years after, like, 2014. And I play full screen now if I do still play. But yeah, cinema's wild. You can see so much more of the game. But yeah, like Clemens says, like there's still unknown uncertainties with real game time, in-game time. It is kind of weird. But I mean, you can see your field of view is so much greater, which is like that's not negligible, right? If you're losing only a couple of frames on an unoptimized level, maybe it's worth it. Maybe it's worth it to have a better field of view. So, yeah. Heaps of depth of field. Yeah, so if you're shooting cameras and stuff, it's not as good because they kind of unload. It's crazy stuff. Very crazy stuff. Yeah. And Alex got an insane boost through that glass. Like, that was what made it 24 for Alex. That insane boost through the glass door. He had played for ages, you know, like say 1,025s. So, yeah, that was the ticket right there. He had his movement down pat and eventually nailed a run with an insane boost of the glass. It makes you almost wonder how Boss got 24, like 2.5 years early. Like, it shows you how good Boss was at the game. That, like, Alex is a very good player, top 10 player at the time, who spent a lot of time going for this record, 1,000 duplications, and needed a perfect run with, like, an amazing, you know, I always kind of phrase it as, like, there's perfect run, and then are these moments which are, like, beyond perfect. They go above and beyond. And Alex had a perfect run, and that was the above moment. That was the above and beyond moment. That glass door. And that's what caused it to be 24. And that's what he needed for 24. I think that shows how good Boss's 24 really was. There it is. BBAA. Boss and Alex. Alex 49 there, 58. Good time on the rankings. We're now in later February 07. Instead of the beginning of 07 like we last looked at the rankings. And yeah. Good times. This is like the peak. This is good memories. Ilu on Tide Sweep on Aztec, Boss on Control, Train, Ace on Train, me on Silo. I think that's the most unique Untide Sweeps that have ever happened at one time in GoldenEye. So that's always... this is like an iconic screenshot moment in time in GoldenEye history. End of February 07. Maybe the most iconic. If you were to look at, like, any moment in time in GoldenEye and look at all the world records, I mean, there's so many iconic records here. Ilu's Dam 117, Boss's Runway 37, this set of Service 1, you know, my Silo Suite, Wouter 23, this Frigate 00111 that we talked about that last episode, the Alex 49, Streets 1, man, this is... Ugh. It's like an insane blast of nostalgia looking at this rankings. Because, like, every record on here was, like, just iconic and historic. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah, Frigate 23 was so... It was set 2 years before this. It was so ahead of its time, that's for sure. But hey, time always passes. People move like a river's flow. It never ends. More people, now that the dam had broken, would roll in there and attempt to tie Bunker 224. And of course, the cold assassin himself, Dave Clemens, would be the next one to do so. Pretty solid run here. It's dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, 4-Day Bender. Longtime loyal supporter. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's check out Clemens' run from December 07. It would still be almost a year. Let's check it out. So Clemens has a different cutscene. Is that the cutscene? Oh, on Secret Agent, if you get that cutscene, it messes you up. Because the guard's on the right spot. And it should mess you up here because that Klopp guard is in a... Yeah. But, I mean, it's Clemens. He doesn't care. He's just going ham. Look how far back the keycard guard was on his run. And still, Clemens is going to get 24. He has a nice glass warp. No boost. I mean, this is like Clemens in his first prime. But, like, man, that run... This run is impressive because it lacks the things that make Boss... or Alex's runs 24. Super fast, knifes that guard, shoots here. He wastes no time in this room. I guess he was going for a super fast tape room and didn't care about that guard's position. And then warps through the glass, opens the door, and he's out. Like, that is a very, very, very impressive run. There's not a heck of a lot more to say to it. Yeah, so Clem, True Faith, says that is like the key. Alex was relying on a boost through the glass, and even Boss to some extent, even though Boss did attempt to warp it, but also got boosted through. And Clem, like, straight up just kind of got through. A pretty nice warp, but I tell you, we're going to see some more insane warps later on. So pretty nice, and he's out. Opens the door, out. Wow, like, that is a sweet run. Oh, Clemens would dupe the time. Clemens was at some sort of meet with fellow eliter Cook. And he would dupe the time. I think this was actually a couple years later, was it, when he would dupe the time? But obviously the capture's a bit different. And he duped on Cook's cart. So Cook's cart for years would read Bunker 224, which wasn't his PB. It was kind of like a trolley thing. That was a bit even of a worse keycard location, but nice warp. Boost? Not even a boost. Wow. Not even a boost. Just nails it. Yeah, that's what makes Clem and Ace so impressive, is that oftentimes their records don't look that impressive. And that shows how good they are. Like, you know, some of my records, some of Alex's records, there's like this magical moment that like pieces it all together, which is cool in its own way. But you know someone's like a notch above the rest when they can just get a run that doesn't look all that remarkable, but it's because everything is that extra edge more remarkable than you could never notice. Yeah. So yeah, we're gonna learn more about the key card guard through the night, but he's up there. He was probably in a better location than the original 24, but like Clem almost got hung up on the wall there for like a micro frame, you know? Nothing to lose time, but yeah, Boss actually kind of got, I don't want to say got mad, but I kind of trolled Boss's cart too, because he has Silo 112, Secret Agent, which we would have seen on the rankings in one of the flashbacks there. Since 04, it's still his PB, and at the Eclipse meet in 2017, I got like 1 at 110, 109 in his cart. But it was on a different file, so like didn't overwrite his 112, but it was funny stuff still. He thought for a second that I had overwritten his cart with the PB. It's kind of a funny troll. It's kind of a funny troll. Like, a player will take another player's cart and get See, what we play for is this best time. You want to go through your cart and see best time. And so when the best time is someone else's PB and not yours, it's like, feels bad. It's a bit of a troll. So yeah. Yeah, I think Clem, he has one file that was like a race file, right? And so that was the file I was using. I was getting 110s and 109s in that file. And for a second he thought that I had trolled him with his 112, but I didn't. Okay, next 24 was Dan Cervone. Let's just roll it on. Let's take a look at more 24s. Let's start moving. There's going to be a few that we're going to see here, so let's just start moving through them. Really good look down full speed slap. This is just going to be probably... Okay, so Cervone did an interesting thing. Oh man, that did not work for him. He kept in right strafe in the CCTV room, probably in hopes to warp the keycard guard down the hall, and it totally didn't work. The keycard guard was really far away, but luckily he threw the keycard fairly close to him, right? Like, you can see, like, he doesn't go all the way to the guy's body, and he gets the keycard. So that's a good news. And then Cervone has a really good glass warp here, so that's a new technique. That's the by far the best glass warp we've seen so far. So that's what made it 24. Yeah, I mean, like, the mistake on this run is that the guard was really far down the hall. But other than that, the run is really nice. Like, full speed look down, opens the door. He's quick in this room. This is like the error. The guard's not close enough down the hall, which like is sort of luck, sort of not. And then really nice warp. I mean, think of it. Imagine he got a boost at the end there, which we've seen happen, and the guard was closer to him. Does this mean 23 might be possible? I guess that's something we're going to have to find out a little bit later on. So nice run from Cervone there. Wow, yeah, pretty good run. Pretty swell. Here's the next run we're going to see. This player actually lost their first ever run of 24 seconds, but was able to duplicate it fairly easily. This is Perfect Ace's duplication of Bunker 224. You know, legendary player, of course. This run is dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Jazz Apples. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's check out Ace's 24. And look, it looks like he's playing other levels. Is he going to get Bunker 224 first try? Maybe. Maybe he will. Really nice pause off the bat. Watch Magnet Attract. Look down, key card, or sell key. It's not a key card in this level. Really nice slap, like Cervone style. These ones are early 08 now. Gets a decently placed key card. That's a key card. Gets a decently placed key card guard. Wow, really nice warp and boost. That was pretty good. You can't say that wasn't a nice 24-second run. Let's check out his CCTV room. Yeah, so do you see that movement as he was leaving? He goes in, doesn't waste much time, but then as he leaves, he kind of shifts to the right a bit and hooks out. That was his sort of movement to slow him down a bit to hope to warp up the cell key guard. Or not the cell key guard, the key card, you know, the club key card guard. That little hook movement there. See, he comes here, goes right and kind of looks way right. And we'll see probably the evolution of that room a little bit. Probably we'll see a lot of stuff like that in the next handful of runs. 24 seconds, great run by Ace. Very nice stuff. The next gentleman to tie 24, well, it was Henning Blom. Henning Blom. This run is interesting for a couple reasons we'll get into. Obviously, Henning was later removed. We talk about this pretty much every episode. July 08. I mean, historic player in GoldenEye history. This run's dedicated to our SpeedLore champion, Sammy Limex. Thanks, Sammy, for joining and supporting on Patreon. Let's watch Henning's rendition of Bunker 2 Agent, 24 seconds. So now we're basically waiting almost the entirety of the first cutscene. We're waiting for the text to disappear. Slap. Nice throwing knife in the back of the guard. He also does similar to Ace. Similar guard position as Ace. Decent warp, but not remarkable. Man, I'm surprised that was 24. Wow, that was not as insane as I had imagined. No, he didn't miss the cell door. I mean, clearly not. If you watch a session, you'll see people miss it all over, like all the time. Like, you could hear it open, eh? The kind of... That's him opening it. His run just seems a bit janky. Like, even up here, he hits this guard with one shot. Like, one shot hits. He misses the second shot down the hall. Hits the door. And then, coming back, the third shot hits him in the arm. It's just not as, like, nice and clean as some other runs. But hey, it was 24. And one thing that's interesting is that this run was actually performed live at a meet. No boost. Got this during the 2008 Sweden meet at Axel Z's place. So we don't really have any footage of the 2008 Swedish Elite meet. But because Henning got it in front of Axel Z, when all the Henning faked runs came out 4 years later, Axel Z was one of Henning's most ardent supporters. Because he was like, I saw Henning get this time with my own eyes in front of me. No shenanigans, no nonsense, Henning got this time. And so it does bring into question, it's like, should every time ever achieved be ranked on a speedrun leaderboards? Especially nowadays, a lot of people in other communities are having the runs removed for one reason or another, not always related to cheating or, you know, something in game. And so it is a tough ethical question. What should speedrun rankings rank? And yeah, I mean, it's an interesting debate, and there's maybe no right or wrong answer, or certainly no, it's not, you know, black or white. You know, there's a lot of gray area, I would say. You know, the last few episodes, I always say, oh, unban Henning, it's time to unban Henning, you know, 8 years later now. But I doubt it'll ever happen. But yeah, interesting stuff to think about for sure. Henning got the time. What more is there to say, right? So that's why I always like showing his runs in these lores, because he was a big part of the rankings and of competing at this game at that time. So pretty wild stuff. No one would get 24 for another 2 years. We're now into January 2010. Of course, this is our one and only pal, Marcus Striker, as Ace would say. Mark Rützou went by the moniker Marcus Striker for a while, for some reason. Mark's a great player. We're just going to see a very solid run here. This was fairly early in Mark's career, though. It was kind of summer, fall 09 when he joined, and this is January 2010, so this was probably one of Mark's first records, which is pretty interesting. Very nice run by Mark Rützou. It's kind of funny that, like, his best video capture ever was, you know, the earliest in his career. Like, but yeah, I mean, just a good run. Let's just take a look at the CCTV room, and so he does a little bit of the spin around, and the guard's a little bit down the hall. That's probably what we'll see more or less for the next few runs. I'm now going to get to 11 more 24s over the next couple of years. So we're just going to start rolling through and blowing through these. Okay, oh, I mean, not quite, because this one, you know, volume and fright warning on this one. I mean, you've been warned, so I hope no one's sleeping while watching this, because it's not like actually scary like a ghost screamer, but like, well, it's a loose screaming, so buckle up. Was that really necessary, Alou? I think that video clip is a reaction to him getting, like, Jungle SA 2054, which was an insane record. I like this VHS aesthetic. It's really good. So he spends very little time in the room and does that. The guard was further down the hallway. You could see that. But he got a good keycard throw. No boosts. No boosts. That's very, very good. Wow, great stuff from Ilu. That was a really solid run. Let's watch it once more. And then we're just going to... These next few, we're just going to blow through. I'm not even going to rewatch. No time in there. Guards pretty far down the hall. Like a full, like, couple steps further than on, you know, the Henning or the Clemens run. So you can see what happens, right? The more time you spend in the VHS room, the further down the hall the Klob guard will be, and that makes sense. Those initial KF7 shots are luring him to your location. So it's like a kind of a give and take, a push and pull. Do you want to spend more time in the room and have him closer to you, or less time and then have to go down the hallway further? And yeah, it's tough. The next guy to tie 24 would be Jimmy Bauer. Kind of an unsung legend in some ways. Top 10 player formerly, had a couple untieds on statue. Let's see him at 24, March 2010. Very nice slap. Nice knife. So yeah, kind of a middle of the line guard. Gets a nice, really nice boost though. Very nice boost. Watch the whole cutscene for fun. 24 by Jimmy Bauer. Yeah, and his kind of cursor signatures to do this kind of big figure 8 infinity sign. Interesting guy, Jimmy Bauer. We haven't seen him for a long time. Let's see when his last PB was. I'm kind of curious. Jimmy Bauer's last PB, October 2015. Jeez Louise. I hope he's doing okay. That's wild. Jimmy Bauer. Not seen for 5 years. Crazy. No one's heard from him lately. Huh. Hope he's doing alright. A year later, Isa would get 24. We rarely see him on video, so just listen in.
It's like my hand just floats through him. Oh yeah, baby. That's how you do it. New strat.
Yeah, so what's interesting about this run is he actually got his first 24 in 2011. This video is of his second 24. This was done in 2013. So we're getting a bit anachronous. Is that the word now? Out of order in time. So yeah, 2011 when he first got his 24, streaming wasn't really around. It was starting to be a little bit anachronistic. I always fret the word, anachronistic. This one was chaotic because it's interesting because he spends no time in the VHS room and then he has like the average keycard guard. Spends like no time, very quick, and the guard isn't all the way down the hall. You could see he was anticipating where he was looking. He was anticipating the guard to be like a couple steps further down the hall, but he wasn't. Right? He's kind of aiming like he's expecting the guard to be, you know, a few more steps down, but he's not. Luckily, he hits him with a comeback shot. The chaos here as the guard on the left charges him. The guard on the right rolls into his way. But he gets the boost similar to Alex and Boss through the glass. and beautiful stuff. I mean, it is interesting though, because it's like, okay, maybe now we can do a super fast CCTV room and still get a better club keycard guard. And he did seem to imply like, oh, new strat. So could there be something to it? I guess we'll find out. This is Jimbo November 2012. This is a really early stream from Jimbo. Like one of Jimbo's first streams, probably. Oh yeah, geez. He would often text somebody while streaming, and he had like a Luigi ringtone, you know, back when people still had ringtones. Let's see. Scrolling around. Nice slap. Nice slap. Let's see what Jimbo does. So he's yeah, oh, wow, that was a lot of time. Probably, yeah, right at the wall. Worked out really well for him. That was the best warp we've seen, I would say. That was an 25.
Oh! Was that completed? I think that was. I don't remember if I got nat or not. Oh, shit. Is anyone watching? No? I don't know if I completed that or not. Oh no! Cook, I don't know if I completed that, dude. Oh shit. Hang on, I gotta...
Oh, it's such a good hapless Jimbo clip. I'm assuming, JD, that Clemens might have trolled his cart as well. And that's why he wasn't sure if it completed. That's my best guess. He could just be like, you know, being silly. Right? Being the way Jimbo is. But yeah, he really gets hung up in the CCTV room. And as a result, the guard is like perfectly on the corner. He full speed gets the key card and runs off. And that's by far the best warp we've seen. So that's really interesting. He could have even got a boost there. So that's, yeah, good stuff. That's a really nice run and a funny Jimbo reaction. Asking, is anyone watching, kind of a classic. Like, is anyone watching? Especially back then, that age. So now we're in February 2013. This is Karl Jobst. Let's take a look here. So he's getting a very clean slap. February 2013 is when things would really pick up. Like 8 people would get 24. You see Karl hung up in the CCTV room looking a certain direction. And that was to basically... We're starting to figure out the optimal way to get the keycard guard. We're starting to figure it out. And so Karl figures, I'm going to go in the CCTV room. I'm going to stay there for like a quarter of a second at the table and then turn around. And then get a decent keycard position. And even on this run, I think the keycard position could have been better. He goes for an insane warp, he misses it, but it's still 24. And yeah, it's just kind of interesting because on a lot of the previous runs, what happens here would have happened not intentionally. You would have maybe spent more time than you wanted in the keycard room because you got stuck or hung up, and it worked out for you because the keycard guard was further down the hallway. But in this case, we're starting to intentionally be like, okay, I'm going to hang myself up in the room for a quarter of a second and then YOLO it and go for the best keycard guard position. And this was February 10, 2013. 5 people would get 24 within the next 5 days. So this is like, there was an eruption of activity on Bunker 2 Agent. This is Luke's run. He has some music in it. So we'll just watch on mute, unfortunately. He's going in widescreen, so in between full screen and cinema. We're probably going to see a very similar thing. Keycard, full speed slap, opens the door. Comes out here. Starts shooting. He doesn't spend as much time there. But similar idea. Gets a nice boost. Not a great warp or movement through the glass door, but he gets a boost. And that's good enough for 24. That was one day after Carl's 24. This is Guillermo Alberto's 24 the next day. I don't know what's up with that VHS relic to start the video, but hey. Probably going to see a lot of similar stuff here. So he got hung up on the guards moving through there. Gets, yeah, pretty average. Oh, that was not average, though. Obviously a pretty average keycard guard, but that warp through the glass plus boost was far from average. Let's just watch that once more. You know, average, pretty average, but then charged guard, beautiful warp and boost. That was beautiful. Gets the 24. The same day, Ryan Cook, the guy whose cartridge Clemens trolled with the 24 earlier in the episode, would get 24. He was a player, you know, in like 06, 07, he wasn't very good. And then, because he lived not too far from Clemens, they hung out a few times. And Clemens showed him the ways, and he would go on to become a very decent player, and he would get a couple, he would make it to the top 10. So it kind of goes to show just how valuable that kind of in-person teaching and mentorship can be. Really nice warp and boost. That definitely made it 24, I would say. Nice run from Cook. Okay, here is a wacky one. It's my run. The following day. 2 days later, February 14, 2013. So, at this point, I was still playing mostly 1.1 control style. Okay. 2.x on this level does not save any time, because you pause right off the bat. This is one of the levels that is completely immune to 2.x control style. You pause right away, it won't save time. But I thought it might have a use. Because I would play 1.1, which I knew was like disadvantage, especially on a level like the first opening movement is really tight and precise. You have to really sharply slap and turn around and move into a good position. You can't do that on 1.1. I thought, what if I just cruise control the second controller 2.2 to full right strafe? I'm going to be a little bit disadvantaged because I won't be able to strafe left at all, and most other runs will have like a left strafe movement in the CCTV room or something like that. But maybe it'll be the best way for me to go for 24. I went for it like that after probably a week of grinding. You know, there was a bit of a rush going on here. Well, I got this run. It's pretty wacky. It's pretty interesting. Of course, it's one of my runs. It's dedicated to a SpeedLore champion. My dry bread. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch this insane run. This seems to be 16:9 perspective as well. No one uses it. It's believed to be more laggy. I used it for 10 years like a fool. You can see I kind of move up to the left because of the cruise-controlled second controller. All right strafe. This is going to be a really good keycard guard. All right strafe still. Full speed. Insane warp. Oh my god, those warps were so good. I was like, oh my god, was it it? And it was it. 24. Yeah, it's kind of interesting because it's like, obviously, in speedrunning, you want to say, oh, just do what the best player does, and like, that's the best strategy. Always do what the world record does, that's the best technique. And it's like, fair enough, that might be true. But what if you can't? What if you don't have the same capabilities? I wasn't very good at using 1.2 control style because opening doors was really hard for me. Like, I would not have been able to do those warps on 1.2 because I'd have to hold the up and C with your thumb and then alien finger the B press. I'm not very good at that. Other guys are. But because I was able to cruise control the second controller, I didn't have to hold it. It was going full speed right strafe no matter what. So I could, on my main controller, YOLO B and AZ to switch weapons as fast as I wanted, with as insane timing as I needed to warp that door that well. And so sometimes you have to believe in your own tech. You know yourself better than anyone, right? You know yourself way better than anyone. You know your capabilities better than anyone. So sometimes you have to put your own signature on it, your own technique. Obviously, it's something that comes with knowledge and experience, but I figured that this would give me a shot at getting 24, and it did. And so I'm pretty happy with that time. It was like, it's a run that makes me feel clever in GoldenEye. Oftentimes, especially nowadays, I feel like a washed up, lame duck. But this run makes me feel pretty good because I came up with something that worked just for me, that no one else has ever done. My style, my technique, and it worked out for me. Yeah. I mean, it'd be easy to say, I don't know if you guys watch golf. It's easy to say, oh, just emulate the swing of the best golfers ever. Jack Nicklaus or Tiger Woods, but that doesn't work for everybody. If you watched the U.S. Open, saw that Matthew Wolff's swing, wacky as hell, but it works for the guy. And hey, sometimes you got to find your own technique. You know yourself the best. And if it works well, keep doing it. Not always. It may have limitations, but believe in yourself. Exactly. It's not so easy to do exactly what the best players do. Sometimes you gotta yeah, you get the picture. The same day, believe it or not, Wouter Jansen would tie the time. Unbelievable. The guy who set more records than anyone else in the game barely got any world records after the year 2005, really. But this was in 2013, and this was one of the world records he got. This is like the second most recent world record he ever got. Yeah, that's pretty crazy to think. Only Surface 2 Agent 48 is a more recent record by him. So that's kind of hard to believe. It's like, in this man's career, okay, he got more records than anyone else by far. 281. This was his 280th. And of course, it's dedicated to a SpeedLore champion, Corey Meyer. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch Wouter's Bunker 2 Agent 24 set on the same day as my own. Again, a wild rush of players, because now the level's kind of solved. We know kind of go full speed, hang up a little bit in the in the CCTV room, and get a good and fast keycard guard. Now Wouter did the opposite. Wouter just did a very fast CCTV room and got a further keycard guard, but the warp is also becoming really mastered as well, and so that's another time saver as well. All these bits and pieces of the level are coming together. You do the trade-off with the keycard guard CCTV tape, get a good warp, get a good ending warp, and you can get 24 just like Router did. Pretty crazy to think that this is, yeah, it was really, he like, the guard was far away, but he got out of it really cleanly and had a really nice 2 warps ending. Really nice stuff by Weather. Second most recent record is penultimate record. Unbelievable. One more guy would get 24 that month. This would be 11 days later, so things started to cool off. This guy, David Witten, he was around, but he kind of disappeared as well. This will probably just be a very similar 24 to what we've been seeing. He got a few good records, like I think he had Streets records. Really nice slap. I love the deep sound too. Very, very good. That was like a really nice keycard location and a boost through the glass. 24 seconds. Great stuff by Witten. He hasn't played since 2014. Hard to believe. So yeah, he was kind of in that range of just before the Twitch era into early Twitch era. He was around. 24 seconds, one of his notable records. He says, I waited too long at the cinema, so I did something slightly different. Let's take a relook. So again, usually you want to cut it like right after the text fades. I guess he feels like he waited a little bit longer, so that'll affect that guard's position, you see? And he's gonna go... That was a very, very interesting slap there, I would say. It looked a little bit different from what others have done. Maybe faster. Maybe faster. Again, at this point, yeah, that Glacier is becoming decent. We've seen more insane warps. Interesting stuff from Witten. And we'll see how things pick up from there in the next part of this Bunker 2 Agent SpeedLore. So there we are, amidst this mad rush to get Bunker 2 Agent 24. And we can see all the gentlemen who have now done so. We've watched every single one of these runs. A race for 23 would ensue. I think especially on Witten's 24, he used a technique at the beginning where he waits longer in the opening cutscene. And so it's he has like a better, more direct angle to slap and open Natalia's door. Carl would begin to master this technique. He's playing from an unoptimal position, I would say, sitting on a bed in that position. I don't think that's the best way to play GoldenEye at like at a high level, you know, like. And he has the console on his bed, which is probably making it prone to freezing. But hey, let's see what happens. Let's watch his beginning especially. So he watched more cutscene. The guard is walking away from him at this point, like on Witten's run. Very tight slap. It looks like he missed the Natalia door. I'm not sure if he did. Really nice warp. Failed. Yeah, so it's a very interesting way to see it, is that many runs you do, you will go for a good slap in the beginning, and you will miss the B press on Natalia's door. And so objective B, escape with Natalia, won't complete. So he missed the B press there. As a result, the run failed. But it was 24 pace, and it shows his sort of, it shows this technique he's working on in the beginning, it is a faster first room technique, is what it comes down to. Opens the door, gets the tape, comes out, and he gets a really, really good keycard guard position. Wow. This is early March 2013. Here's another one. March 11, 2013.
Hate that when I'm like so close and the level just keeps f***ing me.
I think that's Glenn Stevens on the right. Another, he was a former top 10 player. He hasn't played in a long, long time. But he is a fellow Aussie, and so he would hang out with Carl. He hasn't PB'd since 2014. And only one PB, and before that it was not since 2010, so yeah. He hasn't been around in a long time. Yeah, you used to have 10 people on the bed. It is kind of like, anyways, yeah. Let's see what Carl comes up with here.
So annoying. Every little thing just, you know, makes it so much more bad.
Nice. That was a really clean and good start. Barely wastes any time there. Really good. Oh my, this is a really good run. Insane warp.
Ah!
Oh my
What
god.
happened, man?
24 missed warp at the end.
It's like my thumb slipped, man. It was so f***ed up.
Wow. Wonder why he quit out there. Maybe had a bad cutscene. Yeah, he probably doesn't like this cutscene. Remember, Clem's the only one to get a 24 of that cutscene. That hurts, man. This run was really, really good. I want to say he hesitated at the table here for like one frame. To get the optimal keycard position. Insane warp, best warp we've seen tonight.
Ah! What happened, man?
I don't even think his finger slipped. I think he just missed the warp. I mean, it happens. Yeah. Well, Mark would also be going for 23. You know, Mark and Carl haven't interacted recently, but you could definitely say that they don't like each other. That's for damn sure. You know, not to, you know, bring up past drama and stuff, but Mark and Carl do not like each other, and so they were probably a bit more tolerant of each other back then, but this was still like a heated rivalry between the two of them. Mark and Carl were both going for 23. Let's see what Mark cooked up on March 12th, 2013. So now people are using this, watching more cutscene, getting this beginning technique. That's a good point, Hurricane. So similar thing, a little bit of hesitation, really good position on the keycard guard. He's gonna need a boost here. Insane warp and boost. Is it the run? No. A 24 dupe. Sadly. The following day, March 13, Mark would get this run. This is at the point in his career when he was using the pseudonym Marcus Stryker. Tiny hesitation. Insane keycard. Insane warp. Missed warp. 24 seconds. missed warp. Yeah, so Mark was using a PAL to NTSC converter, which is a bit controversial. It's something that, like, it's a weird... Have I showed one on stream before? I don't know if I have. There are a number of ones. This isn't what Mark's looks like, but like this, it's like you put in a PAL game and an NTSC game. The PAL game is like a dummy game. It's a dud. And you can play NTSC games on your PAL console. And it has really weird effects. Like, Ilu timed the end credits of Mario 64, and he found the converter was like 1 second faster per minute. But we don't know in-game time how much, if anything, it saved. So the usage of Mark's converter is a controversial topic, and we don't know exactly if it was an advantage to him. And we'll never know. His insane dam records, 116, 155, were used with the converter, and a lot of his records were. This one as well. On March 14, 2013, Pi Day, after 50 hours of playing Bunker 2 Agent, he would beat Carl to the punch. This is a historic record. Well, it has to be dedicated to a SpeedLore champion. And this one goes to Dr. Slochter. Thank you for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's take a look. Yeah, the converter obviously is faster real time, 1 second per minute roughly. So it's definitely faster on real time attack full game runs. We don't know about single level runs. Nice slap. Nice slap. Nice shots. Pretty quick turnaround. Really nice. Gets a boost. Really clean warp. Out the door. This is the slowest slow roll of all time. Mark knew it was the run. Bunker 2 Agent, 23 seconds, by Mark Rützou. Yeah, imagine he went back and missed it. Would be insane. Let's watch again. Really nice boost. You would expect the boost to be here, but that boost down the stairs is really, really good too. Clemens was going for 23 a little bit at the time. Ace was also going for it. And I'm gonna look at Clemens' times page to see what, if anything, he was playing at that time. And Ace was also playing a little bit for it. Clemens was... Yeah, Clemens was kind of inactive. He had gotten the Egypt 45s a month before, and didn't PB again for another year. So I think he was just kind of not playing all that much. at that time. He wouldn't really play that insanely until 2015, pick it up again. So I think Clem was dabbling, but not too deep into it. And Ace went for it, I think. He didn't get it. He would get Facility 44 on PAL around this time, and Facility 0052. So he gets some insane records, but he didn't quite nab the 23. Yeah. Insane stuff. Well, I mean, geez, what would happen next? It looks like this is the end game of Bunker 2. You know, that 23 was perfect. Really nice boost. You could maybe theoretically get that boost plus another boost leaving right there. So assuming Marks is a 23.9, you could maybe get a 23.6. I don't know about much lower than that. But let's watch some more runs. This record would remain untied for over 1 full year. Until Perfect Ace would finally get around to it. Let's see what Perfect Ace has got up his sleeve. I imagine these will be fairly similar runs. Nice slap. Very little hesitation, but does take a kind of a... Like, that's what Mark and Ace are doing. Really insane. Wow. Oh my god. I was not ready for that. That was pretty cooked. Really, really good run. Yeah, Mark and Ace are doing a similar thing in this room. They're just kind of taking a wide, roundabout left turn after the CCTV tape. And that gets him a really insane keycard guard. Really late boost for Ace. He could have got a second boost there. I would say he would get a second boost there, but didn't quite happen for him. 23. Beautiful run. At the same time, for some reason, Ace decided, I'm going to go for 24 on PAL. Remember, PAL is like quite disadvantaged, I would say, on this stage. Let's even take a look. Here is a PAL comparison against Ace's 23.
I mean, I don't think that anymore.
So, Joris is playing on the left. Ace is playing on the right.
It's hard, especially on PAL.
Listen to the variation in the keycard pickups. So you can blatantly see that on NTSC you get the key a couple frames earlier. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 frames earlier. That is not insignificant. And then also the door opens slower on PAL. So it's certain to say that PAL is disadvantaged. But Ace decided to go for 24 on PAL just to kind of prove that he could do it. And in July 2014, he would get this very notable, very interesting run. We have one last SpeedLore champion of the night to dedicate it to, and it's our longtime loyal supporter, Mr. Moxie. Thanks for supporting SpeedLore on Patreon. Let's watch this insane Ace run on PAL. A 5-frame loss, and more than 5 frame at the jail cell key pickup. There we go. Should be a boost there. Oh, that wasn't even a good warp. But hey, it's enough to be the first 24 done on PAL, so pretty good stuff from Ace. Yeah. Wild. Well, not to be outdone, a couple days after Ace's 23, July 7, 2014, Carl would pick back up and say, okay, now I gotta buckle down. I got 23. Let's see what Carl can muster up here.
Oh my god, this run. Oh my god. I don't know if it could be it, but it was fucking amazing. Oh my fucking god, no way! Oh. Oh my god. Oh man, this is fucking crazy. Oh man, this is fucking insane. Oh. Oh my god.
It is crazy, and that's the rush. That is the rush. Yeah, all three players have used Japanese, which is interesting. Honestly, I don't even know. I mean, we'll see. We'll see what happens next. If people, you know, what I don't know what will happen next, guys. Right along for the ride with you. Definitely Clemens would go for 23 next. This run. Well, let's just take a look.
Impression of Goose's reaction. What's that? Oh, I think I remember what you're talking about.
Good run. Nice. This is it.
Why? Who shot those consoles? Where? What? Who was it?
His warp got messed up because something blew up as he was about to warp.
What was that? Why? What was that? Where? They're all here. What blew up?
It was very obvious to me what blew up the first time I watched this clip last night. He'll find it in a second. I'm surprised it took him so long to
This
figure
is
it out.
unbelievable. Oh, was this? But they shot this? They shot this? On the 23 pace, they blew this up? Are you... What?
The guards on Bunker 2 can't pull grenades. Only the spawning ones can. So the ones who are alerted when an alarm goes off. So on an agent run, you're not going to get grenades. But like, this literally is once in a lifetime. This might be the rarest thing that's ever happened in the history of GoldenEye that we have footage of. That like isn't like a freak like, I mean, it is a freak anomaly. But yeah, it's like that's funny. Like literally never seen, probably will never be seen again. Insane. Well, would Clemens be able to redeem himself and not get trolled? Let's see what he did in November 2014. Or would he get trolled again? Really nice slap and open. He's play on Japanese again. Really nice shot. Really nice position. Decent warp, good boost though.
That might be it. This might be it. It's gonna be close. Yes! I got it, dude. I f***ing got it. I f***ing got it. Yes. I f***ing got it. Oh my god. Like 5 minutes after the other run, and I f***ing got it.
Yeah, his warp could have been better. Like, we've seen better. But yeah, so Callie's in here. Callie's a very knowledgeable player. Callie says that his beginning is just insane. It's just absolutely insane. And it is. I mean, you can see how, like, it's like a straight line. I mean, that's just nuts. That's just nuts. And then really crisp strafing. Really no hesitation. Does take the wide left. And, like, that is so good. It's almost 22 pace. I don't know, man. I mean...
That might be it.
Probably not 22, but really, really good run. The warp could have been better. He could have got a second boost. Has some interesting potential. No one would tie 23 other than these guys. Mark, Carl, Ace, Clemens. That's a pretty elite group of guys with 23. You know, this run was done in 2014 through 2015 and 2016. Not a single person would tie 23. In early 2017, at GDQ 2017, Luke Sklar's champion, former champion of the game, was going for 23.
I've been getting really lucky with the cinema.
He's been playing on the left screen. Let's take a look what happens.
That's true. Speaking of which. Wow. How far you ever drop? Borrow my card to get 23 on that. Oh my god! Yes! I think that's it. Maybe. Oh, because there was the boosters at the glass, so I might have got caught.
He thought it was it, man. And I'm surprised that he reacted like that instantly while playing. Usually when you're playing, you try to stay more focused and react later. Hold it in, you know, but he's, I mean, Luke's a madman. He's a unique...
Oh my god!
Unique fellow.
Yes!
It looked good enough for it looked really good enough for 23. I'm surprised it was 24. Wotus would try. Yeah, it's all about bed strats. Playing from a bed, yeah. Well, actually, what's funny is all the 23s we've seen have not been from beds. We've only seen 24s from beds. Carl getting low 24s and Luke getting 24s. So maybe from beds you get low 24s only. Maybe. You want to rerun? Yeah, okay. We'll check out that Luke run again once more. Do beds cause lag? Is a iceberg entry possibly? Playing from beds causes lag. I mean, this must have been like 24.0. Like, it looked...
Oh my god! Yes! I think that's it.
I wouldn't say scuffed. See, where I think it wasn't, what I noticed on this second watch was that the keycard guard was not in a perfect position. He had to go in a little bit to get the keycard. He had to go down the hall a touch. Whereas if we watch, like, the Carl 23, he probably won't. Well, it was a touch, but it was less of a touch and it was way more crisp. And then if we watch the Ace 23, that's what I saw, at least. Like, see, Ace doesn't go a touchdown at all. You don't think it's close, eh? That's funny. I think it's close. I think it's quite close to 23. I think it's like a 24.1, maybe 0.2 at worst. But yeah, of course you're going to get a little bit more hype playing, you know, in person. Getting a good record in person is always more epic. Wotus would also go for 23. Let's take a look.
Yeah, you f***ing closed the door on yourself and you still got 24.
That's crazy. I got like double boosted.
It's ridiculous how like nice 23 really was, but it's crazy how 24 can be.
Yeah.
You know, like I just had a run, like 20 minutes ago that got stuck on the guard inside the tape room for, I'm gonna say, maybe 0.4.
Oh, insane warp.
Something like that. And
I just choked it! Oh my god, that was it, dude. Oh, what am I doing? Oh my god.
What? I mean, it was a good run. What was that? It for sure. I don't like. That one looked on par, I would say, with Luke's run. Although, no, that the start was better. I'll say the start was better. I think the keycard guard was better too. Yeah, I think this run. This definitely could have been 23. I think this definitely could have been it. He missed the B press on the door. It happens. It happens. Yeah. Well, that's life, eh? And yeah, here we can see, you know, January 2015. No one, or it's only those 4 guys with 23 still. Really elite group of players. And then 4 whole years later, in 2019, still the same guys. I mean, look, 2015, 1:12:13 total timer. In 2019, we're about a minute lower. A lot of good players coming along now. You know, Hados, Wotus, Luke, they got Untieds. You know, Ogran, Frosttops. A lot of really, really good players coming along. And yet, no one else can match 23, which is really interesting. Yeah, I mean, Luke and Wotus are not rivals in the same way as, say, Mark and Carl. They're pals. They're rivals in the sense that, like, they're 2 of the top 3 players on the rankings right now and have, like, battled for champion. But they're not, like, there's no bad blood there, at least from what I know. And I don't think there is in that sense. So, yeah. I mean, look, we're in 2019 and nobody has... It's kind of crazy that in 4 years, no one's matched this 4-way tie. Unique situation, I would say. We're going to watch some other stuff for a couple minutes here. This is the Turbo run. This is the Turbo record. Boss's Turbo record from 2003. Let's take a look. So, on Turbo mode, you can warp through the jail cell. You can warp through the crack in between the door and the bars. So that's interesting, I would say. Let's see. The Madman Fletcher's going to try it off here.
The whole going faster thing works out.
He gets it.
Hello? How many people have done that on console? How many people have done that on console?
Not too many. Now, the problem on console is that you have to actually pause and then unpause, and you have to switch weapons. It doesn't look like you're switching weapons. It looks like you are... Looks like you're unarmed the whole time, but you're not unarmed. You're actually pausing, selecting the watch magnet attract, and then switching from watch magnet attract to unarmed. It's not an easy warp to pull off because not much is like loading. The hand is a lot to load for the game, but it's not like really coming out visibly. So it's not the easiest of warps to pull off. Does it even save time on console because you have to pause? It'll save maybe the frames that you need to pick up the key from the watch magnet attract, but yeah, it doesn't seem like it's who knows. Obviously, it's nowhere near as hard as the depot warp, we'll say. But yeah, Scorpion, who was last live 3 years ago, would mess around with this. Let's watch this 3-minute clip.
See, Hotshot, the thing is, though, you cannot say it's only Taz, because that's what we thought about Depot, and look what happened. This, though, Bunker 2, here's another warp that I really want to happen. I mean, it's already happened, actually, but this is one I really want to have make a new world record. I just don't know what angle I should approach it at. I need to practice this. Maybe right here. Oh my god! Oh my god, I did it! Holy shit! Oh my god! I just did it, dude! Oh my lord, there it is! That's the strat! That's the freaking strat! Did I get the key? Dude, open. Why is it not... Oh, I gotta kill him. Dude, look at this! He's not even looking at me! This is insane!
That is crazy. Because he doesn't notice you, like, his trigger to notice you and shoot at you is you opening the door. Because you don't open the door, he doesn't realize you're there. And this would actually affect 00 and Secret Agent a lot, because on those difficulties, you have to double slap him. You have to slap him twice. But if he doesn't notice you're there, you could do a 1 slap. And that would save even more time on Secret and 00. It would actually save... It would actually probably be worth doing there, which is wild.
Oh my god! The door's not open! So this guy doesn't even attack you! What? Dude, this guy doesn't even attack you! Look at that! He doesn't even know to attack you! He's such a freaking idiot! Oh, 1-hit kill. Open that. Let's go.
I think it's
so freaking...
I think it's just that guard who doesn't notice you.
cool, dude! Oh my gosh.
Yeah, but you can't slap him from 1 slap from behind on Secret and 00 Agent. That's why it would save time there.
Right on cue. How does this always happen to me, dude? What's up, guys? What's up, Whipski? Good to see you again. Icy, what's up? Yeah, dude, the damn one was done with memory hacking today, but this right now is a little bit more important. Holy crap. Ooh. Wow. You can hit him out of the room? Really? Dude, that would be so weird. Wow. Okay, so this was confirmed. That was 1 hour, 16 minutes. Oh my god, dude. I have to do that again. That was so beautiful. I know how to do it. I know how to do this. So I don't need to have any of the bar in the actual line of sight. So, like right here. Oh my god, dude! I did it again! If only I was better at this level, man. Wow, I am freaking on fire, dude. And of course it wasn't a PB because I freak out, but...
Yeah, obviously the speed at which he's doing it here wouldn't save time over the world record strategy. You know, it's like, think about it. Watch me attract, you get the keycard, open the door, instead of, like, forcing yourself through. But it's interesting to know that it exists, and it's possibly out there. And, yeah. It's one of those strategies that's kind of always out there. It always exists. Is the level ever fully maxed until we master this? So, yeah, it's kind of hard to know. Well, he pressed Z 5 times to get the grumble to make leg, I believe. So, yeah. It's like, would this even save time? It's hard to know. Here is a comparison, though. Joris made this comparison video.
See if the whole going faster thing works out.
I mean, it might.
See if the whole going faster thing works out.
That was like your optimal door warp, and it looks like the warp, he's closer to the door than Clemens is 24. Would it be enough? You know, I'd like to see a comparison to a 23, maybe. It's interesting, though. It's like a perfect first try warp probably saves time, or
See if the whole going faster thing works out.
could save time, maybe, but we don't really know. I'll show the TAS earlier than I usually show the TAS. We still have a few more runs to show, about half a dozen runs. This is done by Eliminate Xenia, a fairly new TASer, really good at TASing. This will use the cell warp. This will use the cell warp. Let's take a look. You can get 4 boosts? Wow. I don't know about that. That seems insane. So, warp the door. Did he pause? He must have paused, right? Yeah. Okay, so he pauses. Pauses, warps perfectly, slap open. Obviously perfect movement, perfect club shot, perfect warp boost, perfect warp. Obviously that last warp is like almost not possible on console, and this is, believe it or not, a 21. Is Bunker 2 Agent 21 seconds possible? Is 22 possible? Again, we don't know. The record still is 23. I'll tell you that. The record's still 23, even though we have a few more runs to show. So, in July 2009, Ace likes making these threads, like, of statistical analysis. There's Ace's avatar from Frozen 2. Here's a list of all world records in order of when they were last achieved by anyone. So this could include untieds, but doesn't necessarily include untieds. Like at this point, Streets 00 was untied, sort of, 1100 days. But Bunker 2 Agent was actually the longest standing, he coined this term, longest standing unachieved record. And he has this great data visualization. Very, very cool stuff. Wow. That's really cool stuff, honestly. Anyways, the point is Bunker 2 Agent 23 had gone longer than some untieds in terms of being achieved. Facility 00, his control... Oh yeah, Control Agent 356 was another weird one. Yeah, anyways. It's kind of weird that a short agent level would go that long without anyone having matched it. It is really weird. Who will be the one to match it? I guess we'll find out. For now, we'll just watch 3 more guys have done 24 on PAL. This is Henrik doing so. Let's watch Henrik's run. They'll probably be pretty similar, but they're noteworthy. I guess Henrik didn't have NTSC working at the time. This is done in 2014, and it's his PB on the level. So it's kind of interesting. They're all good runs. Gets a boost. Wow, no boost. That's a really nice run from Henrik there. 24. Good stuff from Henrik. This is Callie. Callie's in chat. I made a video recently about Callie on Statue. Insane player. The jail door is much, much slower. Much slower on PAL. This looks like 16:9 almost, Callie. Your aspect ratio's goofy. It's widescreen. I can see that. Like, it looks 16:9. Right? Cal noticed it too. Good warp. Okay, fair enough, Callie. I believe that. Yeah, the PAL aspect ratio is different. 24 seconds. Very nice run from Callie. Joris
I mean, I don't need that anymore.
would also get 24 on PAL.
To get to warps. It's hard.
I think he was with Green Unette. They would hang out a fair bit.
Especially on PAL.
Oh, insane back boost evasion. This doesn't look great. On PAL, sometimes the beep doesn't happen on with the tape. Good warp. No boost.
That's it.
It's pretty confident.
Yes! Alright. Nice. I'm done with this.
Good stuff from Joris. Joris wanted to go for 23. He wrote Joris, you know, he's the co-researcher of the SpeedLore episodes. He does a great job. Very thankful to have him around. Much appreciated. He would write this post about going for Bunker 223. Joris said, I always wanted to go for 23 because I felt it was a time that should have got more ties. And at the time, in 2019, no one had tied it since 2014. But it was a really scary time to go for because only the very best players of the game had it. I also knew that some people were really good at the game and went for this time but couldn't quite get it. Callie, Luke, Jez, Wotus. But I couldn't stop watching Mark's run, and I really thought that it wasn't that insane. The keycard kill is a bit slow, Mark changes strafe to kill the guard, and the warp at the end is very safe too. So to me it looked like maybe Bunker 223 wasn't as insane as I'd thought before. After a week of playing for 23, I woke up one morning. At the time I was doing an internship as a receptionist in a hotel. I got dressed up in my suit, tied my tie, and I still had about 30 minutes left before I had to leave. So I just started playing Bunker 2. After about 20 minutes of playing, I got a run. It was a pretty good run. I thought, this had a chance at 23 if I got a boost. That's what he thought when he was warping the door. Let's watch his run. The run that Joris got on that fateful morning in 2019. So he's using 2.x, sounds like, by slapping there. Beautiful. Nice slap. Really nice warp. Yeah, I can see why people say this run's perfect. He thought at this point that with a boost it was 23. He wasn't expecting this. Bunker 2 Agent 23 by Joris Quevedo. Now here's the funny story about this. At the time, it was known that Dusky and the Rützou were doing a horde. You know, where they get a bunch of records, save them up, and release them at a later point in time. This is kind of becoming like the new meta of GoldenEye speedrunning and Perfect Dark speedrunning. Joris wanted in on the horde. It's a fun, bit of camaraderie. You have 5 buddies who are going for insane times, not telling anyone about it, and then going on to share an epic project with the community, get everyone excited. Here is Dusky telling the story of Joris and this run and how it relates to the horde that he did with the Rützou and a couple others.
My favorite piece of editing. I really quickly want to mention before I mention that Joris joined a little after that, and Joris joined because of his Bunker Agent 23. He linked that run to Ricky, and the video was unlisted, and it was just titled Perfection because it had no boosts.
Yeah.
And he's like, and Ricky was like, oh my f***ing god, that is like the best executed run I've ever seen in my life. So, and he's like, fuck man, I want to add you to K4. And he's like, oh, I gotta ask Dusky first. So he sends the video to me, and I saw it, and I'm like, same thing. I was like, wow, holy shit, that is like the best OCB run I've ever seen. I'm like, yeah, Joris is in. We'll use Joris to replace Pauly. And funny enough, Joris, that sly little French motherfucker, guess what? That was his plan all along. When he saw the announcement for K4, apparently he was going for an insane time because he wanted to be in K4. So Joris being the little sly little dickhead he is, he gets his insane world record. He DMs it to one of the guys and oh, Ricky announced he's in K4. I'll DM it to him, and then Ricky sees it. He's like, oh, let's put him in K4. So that was Joris's plan the entire time.
So there you go. Joris's plan was to get the insane record, which he did, and then share it with Ricky and Dusky in hopes of being invited into the horde. And he was invited into the horde. And they had a great time. They released many epic records. Joris definitely, I think Joris got Chicago Untieds, was it, in Perfect Dark? A couple good runs there, yeah. So maybe not. Anyways, it is what it is. Definitely Ricky got an Untied in Perfect Dark. That's still untied. Mine SOS. But yeah, the horde, I gotta say, the hordes start to blend together to me, so. But it's a funny story, and well told by Dusky there. The run to me, it's obviously I would say a perfect run. Again, we'll watch the Joris run once more. It's a flawless run. But kind of like I mentioned, very early in the episode I was talking about Alex's run and Clemens' run. Clemens makes runs look average, kind of. Some players like Alex have this super epic moment in the run that makes or breaks it. And this is just interesting because this is just a perfect run. It's kind of separate as well, so Yeah, no boost. Do all the other 23s have boosts? They must. They must. I'm not going to look back at all of them, but yeah, pretty epic. Very, very nice run from Joris Quevedo. So there's only 2 more runs to show, believe it or not. It's kind of crazy. Well, another horde would come along. The Project 2020 horde, and in that horde, Cali W would share this record. Missed the slap, which is kind of funny. Oh, interesting hit there. Yeah, that was... Oh, wow, that is a wacky run. Pretty good. I thought he was going to get another boost there. That is a weird run. I never have watched that run closely. That is such a bizarre run. Ammo off-screen is interesting. Yeah, you're right. It's somewhat believed that ammo off-screen might reduce lag. Hard to say if it's true or not. But yeah, so this hit over here doesn't really matter because it's going to impact the speed of that guy showing up. And he gets boosted away. I mean, yeah, I can see it. I thought he would get boosted here. But still. Pretty wild. When you're good, you're good. And we know Cali is really, really good at the game. You know, he used to beat up on Armada all the time in Smash Bros. Melee as Falco. Cali's a god gamer. And that's why he got Bunker 2 Agent 23. And, yeah, this one would be hoarded as well. Oh, yeah, the funny thing about these hoarded records, by the way, is if we go back to Ace's thread, the Bunker 2 Agent time, which has been the longest standing unachieved record, well, it wasn't actually unachieved because Joris had tied it and was hoarding it. Funnily enough, Streets 00154 had been untied and thus unachieved since 2016, but it hadn't really because a month earlier I had tied 154 and I would unhoard it later on in a SpeedLore episode. So this kind of goes to show how much hoarding is part of the meta of playing GoldenEye, spearrunning GoldenEye these days. A funny reminder that you can't always say, oh, this is the longest standing untied or this is the longest standing unachieved record, because you never know what someone has up their pocket. Yeah. As a super side note, there's only one more run to show. Like, for example, as a super duper side note, this guy, Pogo Pope, you know, is a newer player. He's in the top 20. He got a PB on Surface 200. He's like, oh, I was playing for the Untied privately. Let me just post this. I think he's in a horde right now, so stuff like that might be ongoing at all times in the community. Anyways, one more run to show. It is from, you know, former champion Luke Sklar's. Luke hasn't been playing all that much lately this year. In fact, this is the only record he's gotten this year. But it shows that he can still play with the best of them. You know, I love the VHS aesthetic up here play. You know what this is going to be. Let's take a look. Again, Japanese. All the 23s have been on Japanese, which is very interesting. Oh, wow. That is wild, Cal. I did not know that. I guess... See, it's surprising me that Luke doesn't have the capture equipment. He had thrown out his capture card. Wow, that is interesting. That is actually really, really a good, interesting bit of knowledge. I guess 2.5 hours into the episode, I can probably get away with saying that stuff, and the YouTube won't get too mad about it. It sounds like Luke had got this record in April 2020. And at this time, Melbourne, as I believe it's properly pronounced, was in full Corona lockdown. Luke didn't have a capture card for some reason. He threw it out. seems strange to me. And so Cal Brabham, who was the host of Mate Chat back there, on the left, had to go break lockdown measures, visit Luke, and capture the run for him. So that's pretty funny. That's a good bit of lore. I mean, obviously, the current global situation, as people say, has affected speedrunning in big ways, and we've seen a lot of insane records set because of it. People are home more, speedrunning more, looking for things to do to kill time, and so that's an interesting piece. I'd like to know more about the story about Cal, like, sneakily running down the streets of Melbourne, encountering enforcement officers. "Oh, I'm going to the grocery store, mate. You know, I'm just going to pick up my weekly food. Don't, you know," and that kind of stuff. So, I bet that's what happened. Pretty much scene for scene. So, is this run... Well, the run isn't illegal. The method of him capturing the run was illegal, I would say. Okay, JD's saying show this run. Okay, yeah, you're right. This is a good run to show. This is Frost Hops. Is that right? Yeah, this is important. This is actually a good... You're right. Good, really good run. I saw these, I was unsure. But Frost Hops is maybe the most recent player to go for it. Did he miss? Oh, what did he miss? Oh my god, he shot the tape. He shot the tape off the table and missed picking up the tape. No boost. Failed 23 by shooting the tape off the table. That is insane. Obviously, you can fail 23 by missing the Natalia door open. But yeah, that is... Wow. Pictures taken moments before disaster. Right there. Wow. You could still pick it up, but like... On like a basic run, you could pick it up, no problem. And it wouldn't even be damaged. Like if you shoot body armor then pick it up, the body armor loses health. The tape obviously wouldn't. I don't know if you can destroy the tape. Some of the objects in this game you can destroy that are objectives and then you fail the mission. I'm not sure if the tape can be destroyed. It's kind of hit or miss. I know like the circuitry on Silo can be destroyed if you shoot them. I don't know about the tape though. I'd have to go try it myself. So yeah, that is a wild run from Frost Hops, but it obviously shows that there are more players out there who can get 23. I think over the next year, we will see more people with 23. It may become a relatively common record. I mean, it's obviously a very, very good record. You know, 7 players have it now. Really good record. Is 22 possible? Like, I don't think we've seen enough evidence today to say that 22 is for sure possible. But it's a dream. It's still a dream. It's certainly not impossible yet. So that's really it. Those are the runs. Yeah, a no boost 23s have happened. So 2 boosts might get 23.4, but at the same time, it's like, would getting 2 boosts, would you enjoy the full 0.6 second time save off of the 2 boosts? Would the cell, yeah, would the cell warp be enough? It's like 22 is in this area where maybe it's possible, but we don't know for sure yet. And maybe over the next couple years, 1 or 2 more pieces will be seen or executed that suggests 22 is possible. I mean, the TAS, I guess we can watch the TAS once more before we pack it in for the night. But it's like... You know, he gets the cell warp, which might save it saves at least a tenth if done perfectly, I would say, and maybe up to half a second. So he gets the Cell Warp, and he only gets one boost in this TAS, which is 21. So, like, I kind of think the boost down the stairs might not save that much time. But, yeah, it's really, really hard to say. That's just me speculating. Who knows if this is, if 22 or 21 is possible on console. And hey, I mean, the record's, it's a short agent level. The record was set 7 years ago, and only 7 very good players have the time. So that says all that needs to be said about the record. It's an insane stage, and I mean, that's the story of Bunker 2 Agent, and all the ridiculous records set and pursued through the years. I mean, look, we're at episode 35. I definitely am starting to run out of episodes to do, but you know, these short levels seem to work out pretty well, so there might be a couple more episodes I wasn't planning on originally that could still be squeezed out. There's probably at least half a dozen episodes left remaining in the series, so that's pretty epic. A big thanks to these Patreon SpeedLore legends for supporting the series on Patreon. Your support is truly, truly remarkable. Without it, where would we be? Who knows? So thank you for your support as SpeedLore carries on through this month into the next. And a big thanks to everyone for watching, chatting, leaving nice comments, lurking, whatever you might do. Truly, thank you to everyone. Stay true, my friends, and I'll see you in the next stream or video. Good night.